Hey, it's Lee. Welcome to Business Problem Solved. Today, I have the immense pleasure of chatting with Kate Birtles, Customer Services Director at Biffa. Morning, Kate. How are you?
Good morning. Yes, I'm good today. The sun is almost coming out, so yeah, it's a good day.
Yeah, it's an early one at the minute. An early one. So, are you normally an early riser?
Yeah, I prefer to get up and at the day kind of fairly early. I find that if I kind of take that opportunity to take a lay in, then the whole day just feels like chaotic. So yeah, I like to get up early and get stuff done while it's nice and quiet and peaceful.
Yeah, no, perfect, perfect. So, for those people who don't know, might not be familiar with who Kate Birtles is, who is Kate Birtles, and how has she got to sit in that seat today?
Oh gosh, so well, it's quite a bizarre journey, I think, for me to get where I am today. So my career originally, way back when, because I'm fairly old, but way back in the day, I trained to be a dancer. So my early career was around teaching dancing and performing. And I had, great opportunities of traveling. I lived in Madrid for a while, so had a great experience of doing that. And then kind of just decided that actually this is actually really hard work.
Yeah.
As much as I love dance and I love doing it, it's really hard work, and you don't get paid any money for it. So you really have to do it for the love. So I then moved into sort of the corporate world, and started my sort of corporate journey with a water company. And I was so blessed. I had no experience. I knew how to stand on my toes for a living. So
Yeah.
they really took a punt on me to go and work in their credit team. I had no idea what email was, didn't know how to log onto a computer, really, really basic. And so, yeah, I was really fortunate to land with that company. Um, Worked with them for 12 years, and just took every opportunity that they offered me. So started in credit management and qualified into the ICM, the CICM as it is now, and then just moved around. So I had the opportunity to start brand new teams. I worked with IT, doing project management, change management. Really bizarre point in my career. I got to be a statistician for 2 years.
Wow.
Still don't know how I managed to pull that off, because I'm not a heavily numbers kind of dark room type individual. But so I really, really grateful for the support and the leaders that I had, that just took that chance on me and allowed me to kind of give things a go. I then moved companies to go into business improvement, actually. So I was a business improvement manager for a certification body. And that was, kind of went in kind of thinking, well, this is sort of a short-term gig, because it's around change. It's around, they wanted to be more customer focused. So it's just helping them with their processes at that point. And then I was, again, really fortunate that they saw something in me. And I ended up leading the customer service team, because the improvements I was trying to make were really tricky. So that was a great opportunity. And then there I kind of discovered, well, actually all this stuff I've done at Veolia and all this stuff that I was doing at this other company, it was all kind of badged up as CX. And I was like, what is this world of customer experience as CX? So I then kind of explored that, developed myself in that arena, and became the director of customer experience. I then took a different role. So I'm very people focused, really, really like people. But I don't know why, but I thought, do you know what? I kind of want to go and do something where I don't have the people responsibility, where I can really explore change, and I can really explore customer experience on a more strategic level. So I went to work for an organisation that is a roofing manufacturer. And worked all over Europe, and had the great opportunity to go in and see different cultures, different teams, and understand sort of what they were delivering customer service wise. And then from there I landed in Biffa, because I miss the people. I
Yeah.
miss leading people and the inspiration that they give me to move on and better myself, really. So yeah,
Amazing.
that's it in a nutshell.
No, thank you so much for sharing that as well. So, from, I guess my first question is, when you were articulating your journey, you used the word fortunate a
Yeah.
number of times. First, from when in the first company that you were fortunate that they took a gamble on you, and then later in your journey as well. Is it that you're fortunate, or is there something? What do you think that they saw in you?
I think I don't have, I never have an agenda, and I don't operate with ego. I think that's been a really key thing for me. You know, I never take glory for things that other people have done. I don't work in a political way, so I don't say things to please people and to kind of do the right thing. Very much aware that, you know, my success has only ever been because of the people that are around me, and I'm always hugely grateful to those. And I think, you know, just trying to see, I think the I don't know what they saw in me possibly was that I don't see that anybody is trying to do a bad job, that there's anybody out there that's trying to make life difficult, and particularly when you're working in change and you're trying to drive difference in an organisation, recognizing that, you know, the individuals that you're working with have really valid points and have really, you know, good perspectives on what's going on and why they do things the way they do things. So I think, you know, I do think it's fortune, because I think, you know, having open-minded leaders, I'm not, you know, I don't have a degree. I didn't go and study, you know, I don't have an MBA. I didn't go and study business at business school, but just that, you know, that opportunity to work with others and use their skills to kind of, you know, put the spotlight on them, really.
Yeah, yeah. No, thank you for that. And how did it feel when you? I mean, in fact, the first question: do you still dance?
I do, and I love it. So I'm a qualified dance teacher, and the local dancing school where my daughter goes to school, goes to dancing, they often get me to come in and cover classes. So if they have teachers away, then I get to go back in and remember what it was like to teach unruly children, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But myself, I still do ballet, I still do tap, and I do a weekly jazz class as well. So yeah, absolutely love dance.
Yeah. And how did it feel when you changed? You were set on a direction. You were going to be a dancer. You were being a dancer internationally, and then you pivoted into then having to get a different type of career. How did that feel, and how easy was that for you?
It was quite, you know, it was a big choice at the time, and I'm not going to lie, there was a whole piece around sort of body image and how the industry, so the theatre industry, kind of looks at females, and I wasn't, you know, I could see me really struggling with that. And, you know, I don't have a typical ballerina type physique, so this was, you know, it was always a challenge. So the decision to move was a really deeply personal kind of reflection on, okay, where is this going and what am I doing with this? When I moved into corporate world, I was so surprised at kind of I don't know, it was almost like it wasn't such hard work. So dancing, to be a dancer is really, you know, you have to have real grit and real resilience, and be told that you're absolutely rubbish. And when you go into a corporate world and everybody starts saying nice things, it was a real, you know, kind of light on moment for me. But yeah, that move into corporate, it was difficult at times, because you know, again, that political thing, when you see others behaving in quite a political way, I've never understood that, and kind of it baffles me to this day, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and has the grit and resilience of being a dancer helped you in your professional career?
I think that determination to always do a good job, to always you know, be progressing myself all the time. So when you're dancing, you know, you're never at the top of your game. You know, you're always striving to be better and to improve. And I think that mindset completely helped moving into that corporate space, because I was like, okay, what can I learn now? What's different? What's, you know, how can I push myself? How can I develop? Where am I going? You know, that said, I didn't have a roadmap. You know, I didn't have these, you know, points plotted out on a roadmap to say, okay, I need to get to this point. But it's just kind of taking every day as it came, and you know, really trying to push myself. And I think that is very much that sort of that theatre and dance background.
Yeah, as you know, that this episode is going to be part of a Confident Women Leaders series on the podcast. Would you classify yourself as a confident female leader?
So that is, you know, that is the sort of the $1 million question, isn't it? I mean, confidence kind of comes in different ways. I think confidence in knowing my own mind and knowing what the right thing to do is, I think I do have that. I think I know what the right thing to do is, and, you know, very much aware of my value set and, you know, what that brings for me. Confidence in, I mean, starting a job in a pandemic is absolutely shone a light on that for me. So the ability to speak up when you're in this little box with people who are really knowledgeable, who've been in an organisation for a long time, that confidence to kind of challenge and ask questions. I have really struggled in this type of environment. So yeah, I don't see myself as particularly confident, but there are areas that I'm really passionate about and do feel confident in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. No, perfect sense. And I guess so. You took this role in the pandemic, and you just spoke about some of the challenges of having to speak up with in front of knowledgeable people in a different sector to what you're in. How do you do that? So how do you do that? How do you overcome, or how have you overcome those feelings to be able to speak out and to start to make the difference that you want to make?
I think it comes back to that knowledge piece and that feeling that you're on sort of firm ground. There's been no behaviour that from others that would stop me from speaking up. For me in my role, listening to customer calls. I was just saying to you before, I've got a session of listening to customer calls now. If I understand my bit, I understand what our customers are feeling, what's going on in the business through the eyes of the customer, then that's kind of given me that confidence to speak up. So again, it's that knowledge and making sure that you are kind of sure in your own space. That said, when we get to other topics, I will still, at this point, still remain quiet and think, oh God, there's acronyms that are spoken about that I think, oh, I need to Google that and see what that is, or ask somebody. So yeah, always using my team to provide me with valid information. But yeah, it's that knowledge piece again.
Yeah, no, I think that is so important. So when I as we spoke just before, I've got like a confidence course, or creating confident change leaders or people leaders course, and in that I introduce a Q for confidence. So it's a little model, 3-step model. The C stands for level of comfort, the U stands for level of understanding, and the E stands for level of effort. So that the knowledge that you're talking about is about the level of understanding, about the acronyms or the sector and stuff like that. What's coming across with you though is the level of effort that you put in to go and listen to the calls, or to understand the things that you need to understand, to give you that confidence to be able to move forward. Have you always been somebody that's taken action, that's moved forward?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's, and it's kind of talk about my daughter for a moment. That's the thing that probably frustrates me most, is that that inaction that you get from, particularly children, where, oh, it's just too hard, I can't do it. And you go, okay, it's hard. So how can we make it easier? So how can we push it forward? And I think, I don't know where that particularly comes from, because I do see in others that it's not there. And it kind of perplexes me that you think, well, yes, we're here today and it's rubbish, or it's not working, or whatever. How can we what can we do to make that better? And that might be something really small, or it might be, look like a giant mountain. But if we again take that piece by piece, then, we're kind of eking forward and understand again where we're going.
Yeah, no, completely. What's the dream for Kate Birtles?
I don't know. What is the dream for Kate Birtles? That's a really tricky question. I mean, I have aspirations of what I'm trying to achieve in role in Biffa. I think, the dream for me is to be able to help others. I feel very, again, very fortunate, blessed to have been given opportunities by other people. And in all of my roles, I'm always looking to kind of give that opportunity to people around me. So the dream for me is to feel like I'm making a difference, to feel that I am able to kind of reach out and touch people and really kind of inspire them to move themselves forward and to be the best person that they can be. In terms of personal dreams, there's a whole list of stuff around there. I have a vision board to my right at the moment, and there's pictures of villas in Spain. That would be like an absolute dream to be able to get to that sort of position. But yeah, lots of things.
Yeah, no. So I guess what do you see as the main blocker? So just professionally, to achieving what you want to achieve, what's the biggest challenge in your way?
What's the biggest challenge in my way? I guess time is always the biggest challenge. So there is just not enough hours in the day. There's not enough days in the week. I want to move at pace. I want to deliver things, and just finding the time and the headspace to do that. I think, you know, it's almost kind of getting out of your own way and bringing others to the party to help with that. So I think I'm probably part of my blocker in terms of what I want to achieve, in terms, you know, just having that space to really be able to articulate it to others to carry things forward. So yeah, that's probably the big blocker. Then, you know, you come to the more kind of mundane things around technology and, you know, the investment that you need to put into technology, and, you know, the desire to move a business forward, but also recognizing that, you know, you need to balance finances around that.
Yeah. One thing that's come across really quite strongly when we've been talking this morning is the importance of people, both in how, when they've given you opportunities, but and also in your choice of role as well. So you've chosen, it's a conscious choice to come back to a role that allows you to work with people. What is it about working with people that makes you feel that way, that you want to do that?
I just see that there's people, you know, individuals have so much power and so much ability, and I think we just stop ourselves. You know, we do get in our own way. And particularly customer service, when I talk to people in customer service, there is not one single person that said, well, when I was at school, I was studying really hard so I could work in a contact center. You know, it's usually a bunch of people who had dreams and aspirations of doing something amazing and grand, and for whatever reason, that just hasn't come to play. And as a result, you know, you come across these brilliant, amazing people. I mean, in one of my roles, I was leading this girl who, she's an amazing reggae artist, so she's massive in Italy, you know, and in Europe, yet to pay the bills she needed to work in customer service. And you kind of go, God, you know, like, I need to help these people feel fulfilled in their, you know, Monday to Friday 9 to 5. This is not her chosen career. She's got some other stuff going on that is awesome, but actually, you know, we shouldn't kind of stop ourselves from being brilliant in that Monday to Friday 9 to 5. So I just get a real buzz from being able to kind of join the dots together for people and make them feel that, you know, we are making a difference and what I'm doing today is worthwhile.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that, what you've said there as well, because different people have different motivations for doing and completing different roles. And the person that you've just mentioned there, that has a passion and their purpose, is not necessarily in delivering the customer service role. It's outside of that, and this is a means to enabling them to do that. How have you engaged and inspired them to deliver in a place that they don't see them to be forever? How have you done that?
So again, it's just those conversations, those joining the dots for people to say, okay, you know, this isn't where you chose to be, but, you know, what is it in your passion that you're trying to develop? You know, what is it that we can help to support there that actually translates into customer service? So, you know, for that particular individual, being organised and being able to structure, you know, tour dates and, you know, arrangements that she had to do. So, you know, investing in her in being organised and structured and giving projects and other things to do in the workplace that absolutely helped us and benefited us from a corporate point of view, but were skills that they could transfer outside. So it's really just trying to unpick and be a bit more creative about what we look at in terms of the roles. Yeah. So I always try and find things for people where, you know, there may not be the opportunity to be in projects. You know, if you're in the contact center, we need you on the phone, but actually, can we develop you and develop skills that will help you on the phone, but also tie into what your dreams and passions are? Yeah.
Did you ever offer to dance for her?
I know. I'm not sure my reggae moves would be up for much, if I'm honest.
So if Kate Birtles now was to meet Kate Birtles the dancer, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh gosh. Oh, that's a really tricky one, because you know, I think if I looked back and kind of look at what I was doing dancing wise, and you know, I'm kind of, part of me is kind of cross that I didn't have more resilience and more desire to make changes in that industry. You know, it's something that I feel really passionate about, and I, you know, I talk to the the kids that I have the opportunity to teach, you know, around kind of body image. And I do kind of regret in a small way, you know, that I didn't kind of have, I guess, the confidence at that time to go, actually, I'm going to carve my own path. I'm not going to be dictated to by, you know, the structure that's there. But that said, you know, I wouldn't change anything in terms of my journey that I've been on, and the experiences that I've had, good and bad. You know, they help to develop me and shape me to who I am today. So
yeah. What do you think Kate Birtles, the dancer, would say to Kate Birtles now?
You should probably go, what on earth are you doing? You've gone from being really active and moving around and doing, you know, entertaining people, to sitting behind a desk. And yeah, I think she would be very confused.
So just back on the confidence, just really briefly. I've mentioned to you, I think just before we hit record, that 70% of attendees who attend my course, my Creating Confident course, are females. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I'm going to say the dreaded phrase of imposter syndrome. I think we all suffer, and I think it is more predominant in females, but absolutely relevant to males as well, around this imposter syndrome, that you don't kind of deserve to be there and that someone's going to find you out. And this is something that, you know, has absolutely gone through my whole career, because probably around, you know, my nervousness that I don't have the big business brain, that I don't have the qualifications, you know, the degrees and MBAs that others do. But I'm a member of St George's Leadership Society of Leadership Fellows. And at the time we had a coach there who just said to me, okay, you need to just stop talking about imposter syndrome. You just need to move on from that and just own it and get on with it. And from that point, I was like, okay, I can't kind of use that as an excuse. But I think, you know, it's something that we all feel deep inside. And I do think that females, for whatever reason, we do kind of feel that more than males. But it is certainly prevalent in males as well.
Yeah. So when you say stop talking about imposter syndrome, because so I ran a poll recently and I asked change professionals, what are the three things, or what came of it was a poll of the top three things that people worry about. And the first thing, or the main thing that people worry about, is imposter syndrome. The second thing was not being listened to or not being engaged to. And the third thing was the thing you mentioned earlier about not having enough time. So those were the top three worries. And when you said about imposter syndrome, and you need to stop referring to or not stop thinking about it, how do you do that? Because your thoughts drive. I'm a big advocate of your thoughts driving your behaviour, and what you think about manifests itself in the real world and stuff. So is it just as simple as stopping thinking about it, or are there other things that you can suggest or advise?
Yeah, so I think, you know, that imposter syndrome comes from thinking you're going to be found out and that you're not good enough, and, you know, someone's going to find you out. So for me, you know, in the space at St George's, it was about not articulating that, not giving it airspace, not giving it that energy. And then on a personal level, just saying, okay, well, what is it that I need to achieve in what I'm doing now? Being really clear on what my, you know, being kind of kind of very corporate about it. What are the objectives that I need to achieve, and am I doing those the best that I can? And, you know, recognizing that, okay, sometimes I might not be able to do stuff, but am I, you know, overall, am I achieving what I need to achieve in my role as it stands today? And particularly when I was when I came for the interview for Biffa, I kind of thought, do you know what, if I'm not the right fit, if I'm not the right person, then it doesn't matter. And kind of almost allowing that kind of acceptance of self that just says, you know, I am who I am, I can deliver what I can deliver. And if that doesn't fit with what other people need, then that's not a reflection on me. That's just that I'm not the right fit for that role. So I think it's kind of a combination of things, but certainly, you know, talking about imposter syndrome and talking about it and giving it airtime and energy, I think, you know, is kind of counterproductive. I think it's like, okay, fine. What is it that you've actually achieved? What is it that you need to achieve, and sticking to that.
When did you realise that you are who you are?
I'm again really passionate about trying to understand behaviour, human behaviour, why we do the things we do. I was hugely influenced a number of years ago by the chimp paradox. So Dr. Steve Peters. I created lots of training courses for my customer service team at the time around that and around exploring it. So kind of taking that kind of look at, you know, simple look at how your brain operates. And then also, I think values has been a real key eye-opener for me. So really looking down to, okay, what are my values? What is important to me? And staying true to those. So being very clear in my mind what my value set is. I have them up on my wall as a reminder about who I am and what I'm about.
Yeah, when you say, because you mentioned values a couple of times, actually, how do you know, or how have you gone through that process to realise truly what your values are, as opposed to what you'd like them to be? Because when I've had conversations with people, they say they try to give the answer of what they would like to be, not necessarily what they truly believe that their values are. So how have you gone through and understood what your true values are to allow you then to be who you are?
Yeah, so I worked with a coach, to be honest. I took some some personal investment in a coach, and really explored that to really be clear, because as you say, is it just an aspiration? Is it how you'd like people to see you as opposed to what's true? Yeah. So I, you know, was asked lots of deep searching questions, and I mean, there's stuff that you can do online that would probably, you know, do exactly the same thing, to really kind of drill into, okay, what is it, you know, out of everything that you've done to date, what is it that is kind of the theme that works through that? I was asked as one of a task for a different training course I did around creating an elevator pitch. And again, when you have to create an elevator pitch about who you are and what you're about, you start to really kind of understand, okay, actually this is what I stand for, and the bit, you know, around people, but then that translates into that openness, being completely honest, very loyal. You know, these are things that are important to me and that I, you know, project out into the world.
Yeah, when you hang up your career dancing shoes, how do you want to be remembered?
Oh, well, I would love to be remembered as someone that helped others. I think that's the key thing, that made a fundamental difference to other people, that allowed others to be the best version of themselves and to be a success in whatever avenue they choose to be. I think that would be what I'd want to be remembered for.
Yeah, no, I love that. What's coming across really strongly in everything that you're saying, Kate, is just how authentic and genuine you are as a person, but also how comfortable you are in who you are as well. So the importance of people. I think honestly, I really enjoyed chatting with you this morning. What are you having for your tea?
What am I having for my tea? Well,
in fact, actually, do you say tea?
I do say tea, yeah.
Yeah. Where are you from originally?
So I'm from Stevenage in Hertfordshire. That's where I grew up, and I now live just outside just outside in Hitchin.
Gotcha.
So yeah, still Hertfordshire girl. But I'm married to a northerner, so I have very grounded roots.
Yeah, well done. That's another right decision you've made.
Oh.
So yeah, what are you having for your tea?
So for tea, so lockdown has been not a good space for me. So the not going out, not wearing normal clothes, and you know, not going out and seeing people and being in the house has meant that eating rubbish, drinking wine, and generally not taking care of my nutrition has been a big problem for me during lockdown. So I am on it at the moment since Boris made his announcement. I'm like, okay, I actually need never mind a back to normality plan from Boris. I need a back to work clothes plan for Kate. So I'm probably, I haven't planned it out today, which is really bad. I'm following a nutrition program at the moment, which mainly consists of trying to have more protein, which as a vegetarian is tricky. So it will be some sort of leafy type arrangement, probably with some tofu.
Yeah, no, very
for a Friday night.
No, good on you. And when you've articulated your journey, and I picked it up earlier on, you said that you were fortunate with a few people that have supported you and backed you and given you positions. Mm-hmm. What is it that you look for in people now? So if I was to talk to somebody in 20 years' time, they might say, I was fortunate that Kate Birtles gave me a role. Mm-hmm. What is it that you look for in people?
I think it is that putting themselves out there. So when I look, so obviously have the great joy at the moment of learning about a new bunch of people. So I've got around 200 people within my team. And this situation makes it very difficult to meet those. But what I'm looking for when I'm talking to those are people that want to get on, that kind of indicating, how can I develop myself? What can I do? So people who are just enthusiastic for life really is what I'm looking for. And, I can shape and work with those people. I think, where, on the flip side, where you have very closed people that kind of don't want to engage, that just makes my life harder. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't be interested in trying to help and support and work out, okay, what is it that is making you that way? But yeah, that putting yourself out there, that willingness to learn, that desire to progress, and yeah, that would be what I'd be looking for.
Yeah, no, perfect. No, thank you for that. Thank you for that. And if somebody wanted to find out a little bit more about Kate Birtles, where would they go? What would they do?
So I'm on LinkedIn. So I'm not hugely active on LinkedIn. I kind of have flurries of activity. Going back to when I had a coach, that was one thing that she said, you need to be on there, putting articles out every day and talking about things that are relevant to industry and relevant to sector. I'm a bit rubbish on LinkedIn, if I'm honest, but I do have flurries of activity. But I am there, and I'm more than happy to connect with anybody on LinkedIn and kind of have some conversations. So that's probably the best route. All other social media I've binned, so I don't partake in any other platforms anymore.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, amazing. No, I just want to say again, just thank you for your openness this morning. Thank you for your honesty in the conversation that we've had and sharing your journey. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you, and enjoy the rest of the day, Kate. And hopefully, I'll get an opportunity to chat with you again.
Oh, thank you so much, Lee. It's been great. Thank you very much.
Cheers.